When the city of San Diego talks about El Niño preparations, this is what it looks like. Messy business, but from the city's point of view, necessary to protect people's homes and lives. The city says getting the permits to clear storm channels can take up to 2 years. It's part of a careful environmental review that San Diego, the county, and the region's 17 other cities want to put on hold.
Pollutants associated with that can be metals.
Livia Borak with the Coast Law Group is skeptical, especially when it comes to the city of San Diego. She says San Diego doesn't have a good track record when it comes to respecting the environment and should have done these flood preparations years ago.
I think it's more a priority issue and a timing issue that the city hasn't been keeping up with its infrastructure needs. And using a state of emergency is a really easy way to get out of doing the environmental review that we realize is costly and time consuming, but is really important.
Important because while these plants may be, well, ugly, they're a natural filtration system. When it rains, a bunch of nasty pollutants get washed into storm channels, rivers, and streams. The plants filter those pollutants out before they reach the ocean, making the water on our beaches cleaner. Clearing out plants and sediment could make ocean water more toxic, and it could destroy habitat for wildlife.
We certainly understand the risk to life and to property that flooding poses, but we're a little suspicious that they're trying to do all of these channels right now on an emergency basis when it's not something that happened overnight. They knew these channels needed to be cleared for almost a decade.
Houseware type electronics.
Stephen Vincent owns a business next to a storm channel in Kearney Mesa. He says the building's management has tried to get the city to clean out the channel for years without success.
I don't understand why they can't just keep them cleaned out every couple of years instead of letting it grow up for years and becoming a real clogged, bad situation.
The city says it doesn't do that because it has 84 miles of storm channels to manage and maintain, all with limited resources.
But before that, we have to get all of our permits lined up.
Chris McFadden is the head of San Diego's stormwater department. He says the city needs permission from up to 6 government agencies to work in storm channels.
Because of the endangered birds in these areas, we can only clean the channels during the rainy season. So that's a challenge too. When those regulations came into effect, that actually reduced the ability for us to clean channels by 50%.
McFadden says even with the state of emergency declaration, the city would still have to assess the environmental impact of its work and find ways to make up for any damage it may do. All those efforts would just wait until after the work is done.
Every time we do a channel clearing, we put it out for public notice and public review to get any input to make sure that we've crossed every T and dotted every I. So actually, I think this is probably the most robust and most environmentally sensitive channel clearing that I'm familiar with.
Environmentalists say the review can't possibly be as strong if it's done after the fact. But they do agree with the city on one thing. San Diego has to protect people's lives and property. The governor's office is still considering the request for a state of emergency. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.